As a couple who is in business together, what is your secret to a happy marriage while dealing with business?
I'm done. No.
Yeah, out. I'm out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 21, the show where you really get to know your vendors here in Oklahoma City. My name is Rob Jacobs, lead photographer and owner of Everything Photography OKC. With me today, I am super honored to have Stephanie and Bruce Temple here with me at the Rustic Rose Barn. And how are you guys doing? Good. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. You guys just got done doing a kind of a showing, a walkthrough?
Yes,
We did.
Awesome. Is it someone who's already booked? Are they having their wedding, or is this kind of one of those first touch things?
It's a pre-wedding planning meeting. So we do a pre-wedding planning meeting 4 to 6 weeks in advance.
Okay.
And so we talk about everything from their design, table setup, to how they're going to walk down the aisle, because we coordinate both their rehearsal and their wedding.
So I have never really been around wedding venues before we actually started doing wedding photography. So honestly, coming to y'all's venue the first time for our very first wedding photo shoot was amazing, because you guys have your hands on everything. You make sure that the day is going perfect for people. And I think that'll kind of get revealed through what we're doing here today. So for anybody who doesn't know what we're doing here today, we have a fishbowl full of 21 questions, and it's gonna be super easy, super relaxed. You guys are gonna draw a question out of the fishbowl, and you're just gonna hand it to me. I'm gonna read the question, and then you guys can answer it. You guys can take turns answering, or whoever likes to answer the question or feels like, you know what, I got this one. You can go ahead and take the lead on that, okay? Cool. So we'll go ahead and get started.
Right? You got all of them? Oh, I get to draw?
You get to draw.
Yay.
Yeah. Hey, you'll just hand it to me
There
there. Thank you. All right, so this one starts off with a really great question. It says, tell me about your process of designing and constructing this beautiful place.
That's yours.
Is that all you? Is that all you?
completely yours.
Okay, great.
Well, the whole process started because our daughter got married, and we kind of got taken advantage of at a wedding venue, and so we went home at night and said, there's got to be a better way to help people, because what happened to us shouldn't happen to everybody that has a wedding.
You're completely correct. Wow. What?
So,
Can I ask what happened real quick?
yeah, well, we paid for the venue, and then we had to pay for tables, chairs, linens. And
Oh, wow.
they charged out enormous amounts for.
They micro sales you to
extension
death.
cords. You know, they hit us for extension cords and just everything. So anyway, like I said, long story short, when we got home, we said there's got to be a better way.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a school teacher, and I have a heat and air company. But we thought, you know, this would be something we could do together, you know, and kind of work till retirement.
Yeah.
And we started looking at barn plans, and we started looking at venues, and we unfortunately creeped on other venues and visited all the ones here in the city, and we actually went to Arkansas, Missouri, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee.
Wow, that's a lot of research.
That's a lot.
Wow.
But we kind of made trips out of it,
Uh-huh.
but you know, we did our research and found out how they do it, and then here we are.
That's amazing.
And you know, we want people, when they come for the first time, to know what it would cost to have a wedding here.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to call them and say, oh, did you need this? Because we're going to charge you extra for this, and not be upfront with them. So we just give them one price. And when they go out the door, they can go home and talk about it, see
Yeah.
if it works for
That's
them,
awesome.
along with the vendors that they will be bringing in and things like that. Oh, I'm the drawer. I like this job.
You have a pretty
It's kind of an easy job.
It
I like it. You know, professionalism. Okay, so I actually got my realtor's license in 2020, and I know you were a realtor at one point. Am I correct?
Been there and done that. Very short amount of time.
Yeah. You had like 3 listings or so.
Not many.
That's fine. I had one, and that was my own house. So it's totally okay. Now, what do you feel like coming from the realtor space? Do you feel like any of the skills you learned kind of transferred over here into owning a wedding venue?
Well, you're working for people, and we want these people to be happy at the end. For one thing, it's the best day of their lives, or one of the best days. And so you really need to listen to people and listen to their needs, and then you need to follow through to make sure their needs are met. And I think that's first and foremost in a lot of businesses, but an extra point is that it should be because of wedding day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the biggest day of people's lives, and it really matters. So you really pulled kind of being attentive to people and really listening to what their needs and wants are from that. And that's a really big deal in the realtor space, because whenever you're showing people houses, you don't want to get somebody into a house that they're just not, it's not a good fit for them.
No, and waste a lot of their time showing them things that they'll never need or want.
Exactly. So can you explain to us what the Rustic Rose Barn referral program is?
The referral program is when we have had a couple that have worked with us already, and if they bring one of their friends in or their cousins in, our business is largely word of mouth. Of course,
Absolutely.
we advertise, we do that, but a couple that has been happy here speaks more volumes than any advertising you could do.
You are exactly
right. And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so if they're able to bring in someone they know, and the couple that comes in lets us know who referred them or brought them in, we give them a little bonus because they've done that.
That's awesome. Did you guys see that somewhere else and you were like, I want that in our business?
I think he actually
We talked about a referral,
came up with
just to
that.
motivate our old clients to keep talking about it.
Yeah, often in weddings, it's a series of one-off sales.
Yes.
And so you kind of don't get to build a relationship a lot of times with your clients because you see them for their big day, and then you get the pictures together and the pictures of them at your beautiful venue, and then sometimes it's kind of easy to lose connection. So I think that's a really cool thing. They can come back and you can experience each other and really create a friend out of that at the same time.
And we want to appreciate them
Absolutely.
for doing that because we
Absolutely.
truly do. And we are friends with some of our couples. We get little phone calls, hey, would you like to come out to eat with us? And we love that because we like to see how they're doing down the road.
Absolutely.
She's really good at keeping a connection with our old clients because she develops, when she works with them so much, she's on the phone with them a lot before their wedding. So she develops a relationship. A lot of them start calling her mom.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, we find out when they're having a baby, and so we keep in touch. And like she said, we get to go out to eat with a lot of them. So
So you make friends with your couples.
Sure.
That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. They're not just clients, they're friends.
no, they're not just money.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's a big deal. Awesome. We'll go for the next one. All right, a long one.
That's a big one.
So actually, this kind of touches back on your brides and grooms. To a lot of your brides and grooms, you guys are actually a beacon of shining light. No joke, because they appreciate what you guys do so much, and they feel like you guys just have a light about you. So the question I have is, in 2017, you had a friend whose barn and farm had a tragic accident, right? It was a wildfire. So with that light that everybody sees surrounding you guys, what is the valuable thing that came out of that?
Out of the fire?
Out of the fire.
Well, probably because, it's my family up north. They're like my mom and dad. They're not, but they're the closest thing I have to a mom and dad.
Yeah.
But long story short, when it happened, it was tragic because they lost so many animals. They lost a bunch of barns. They luckily didn't lose their home, but they lost a bunch of barns and fences. They have fences, interior fences, exterior fences, all kinds of fences to move cows from pasture to pasture. They had 20 miles of fence they had to replace.
Wow, 20 miles, not 20 acres.
20 miles.
Wow.
So we lost so many animals that it was so hurtful to see that. But even through that, I have friends here in Cashin that came out of the woodwork.
Really?
It was amazing. They took loads of hay up there, because it burned all their hay. And a farmer can't survive
Super
without
flammable.
hay.
Yeah.
So they took loads of hay up there, and I forget how many there were, but there was a bunch, of people to step up. But Chance Robinson is a friend of mine, and like I said, he took, I don't know how many loads up there, but it was nice to see somebody who wanted to help another farmer, even though he didn't know him.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
So a bunch of people really just banded together and kind of helped this person rise back up. Where are they at today?
They're completely recovered.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's only been a few years.
Yeah, no, but they're resilient. My dad Terry, he's an animal. He's 80 years old now, and he's an aerial applicator. He flies a spray plane, and he rounds up his cattle with a helicopter.
Oh wow.
So he's.
That's actually really cool. He rounds up cattle with a helicopter.
Cool.
My gosh.
Yeah, he may have crashed a few of them.
Yeah,
fact,
that's an expensive oops right there.
In 2019, he did crash and almost died.
Oh wow.
So.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, within 6 months, he got another helicopter, and he was doing it again.
They are neat.
That's a guy who loves what he does then. That's awesome.
And in that, it was just really neat to see people that didn't know them at all make a huge difference, and that's why they're back on their feet today. And
from all over the place. Not just here in Cashin, but their friends. They brought thousands and thousands of dollars of fencing material and hay and just stuff that you just can't imagine. But farmers sticking together. So.
okay.
Not all of them are going to be that deep and pulling you out of your heart, I promise. A lot of them are, though. That's what I like to do. Cool. So how did you guys meet? This one's pretty easy.
Ah.
But pull it out of your heart. I love it. I love stories. I love stories of successful marriages, and you guys have a beautiful marriage, it
We've
seems.
been married 5 years.
I know. As I was researching you guys, I was like, holy cow, you guys haven't been together since you were teenagers?
Yeah.
That was wild to me.
We met in church. We both were in long marriages.
Uh-huh.
And long story, they didn't work out. It was a God thing.
Yeah.
That we got together. So we met in church, and we had our first official date at Starbucks at Barnes & Noble. And
Up on Memorial?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And after that, she wouldn't leave me alone.
She bugged you, right? It had nothing of, he wasn't chasing you, right? That's awesome.
But
That's
you know
really good.
what? I just didn't. We had both, like he said, been in really long marriages, and I did not know what it was like to be treated kindly and
Yeah.
nicely. And, you know, it doesn't matter if we're having a rough day or whatever. I still know in the end that he loves me
Yes,
and
ma'am.
he treats me well, and there's nothing like it.
That's amazing.
There really isn't, and I appreciate him more than he could ever know, because he does love me and show me kindness all the time.
Now, you guys just celebrated an anniversary, right? I saw you guys were on a beach, and you didn't have boots on, and that was apparently a big deal to somebody, right?
That's probably a repost, because
Yeah,
not this year.
Oh, yeah? How long ago was that? What beach did you go
Probably
to?
2 years ago.
Yeah,
I think it was not Orange Beach, but it was in Florida.
Yeah, Destin.
It was a super
you know
clean
what?
beach.
Yes, it was Destin Beach, because we were set to go somewhere this year for our 5th anniversary,
Uh-huh.
and he had to have knee surgery.
I
knee
saw that. What
replacement.
did you do to
And
yourself?
I have a heat and air company is what I do.
Okay.
And just 30 years of crawling around in attics and being on your knees, it just wears and tears. So.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So I noticed I saw that we have a mutual friend, Randy Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of my best friends, Ethan,
Yeah.
is his son. And when I saw that you guys, how do you guys know each other?
Yeah. Well, I mean, gosh, I haven't seen him in a while, but I used to go to church with him. I
Okay.
mean, back when Ethan was like.
Cashin isn't exactly a huge place.
Well, it was Piedmont.
Oh, it was in Piedmont. Okay,
It was
that makes
Piedmont
sense.
At the time. But yeah, I mean, Ethan was a little bitty, so
Uh-huh.
I follow him on Facebook still. So
That's great.
But yeah, Randy, he's done some carpentry for me and stuff
Okay.
like that. He's a great carpenter.
He's amazing.
So-
Very impressive. I've seen his work, and I'm just blown away.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
When we get ready to redo our house, Ethan's already kind of looked at our cabinets, and they're going to do some stuff for us. But they're amazing.
Small world.
It is. It's a great world.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
He's super talented too, because he built this whole barn. No,
You built
know,
this?
He built the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Okay, I was
He
going to
did
stop
have-
with the
he
design
had a
question,
small
but now I'm back to the
project.
design question. How did you get the floor plan? Because this is an amazing floor plan. I love the loft, and my gosh, the bridal suite up there, it's massive, and it's perfect. How'd you come up
She
with that?
found the barn plan online, and we got to know a guy who did the barn. He's a barn builder.
Okay.
And so we got to know him and went and visited him a few times, and we changed a lot of stuff in it. You know, there was a lot of design that really didn't work well for weddings.
Uh-huh.
You know, like the bridal suite, you know, it don't have a bathroom, the original plan, and I thought, well, that's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know, a girl needs a bathroom while she's getting ready.
Absolutely.
So we did that, and then we pretty much changed the whole design,
Mm-hmm.
but kept the exterior the same.
It's gorgeous. It's a good design. Like I can't imagine a reason you would change the exterior design. It looks perfect. So you guys have 2 bathrooms, right? You have one downstairs and you have one upstairs, kind of in the bradle suite.
We have one for the bridal suite, and then we have a full men's room and a full women's room, and then we have a handicap and family room.
That's a lot of restrooms.
Yeah.
That's something you don't want to have to deal with when you're going to a wedding. Is
Yeah.
everybody has to use the restroom at one time? You know?
Or go out to go to the bathroom. or
That's
something.
exactly right. That's exactly right. Cool. We'll go for the next one.
There you go.
So for this question is kind of for couples who want to go into business together. Okay. As a couple who is in business together, what is your secret to a happy marriage while dealing with business?
I'm done. No.
Yeah, out. I'm out.
We like to be around each other. We
Yeah.
really do. We're together so much, because he also has a heat and air business.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing business like online work or phone calls, I'll even go with him sometime.
Yeah.
And so if there's days when we don't work together, I really miss him being around.
Oh.
And so
You guys are best friends, aren't you?
we are.
That's
We
amazing.
are. And so that has a lot to do with it. And that goes again back to he loves me all the time, even if we're frustrated or whatever. So when he's gone, I miss him and I want to be around him. So, but I mean, we don't agree on everything. And you just have to kind of respect the fact. Sometimes you have to walk away and go, we're not going to agree on that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
You just have to agree to disagree.
Yeah.
You know, and she's so sweet and kind-hearted. you know, she's nothing like me. I'm not a sweet guy.
Oh, he is
You
too.
know,
You're more of a rough gruff. This is what I want.
yeah, but she's gentle and loving in everything she does.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason this venue is a success. That's it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with how pretty it is, because there's other pretty venues.
Yeah.
You know,
There's an excess of barn venues
yes,
for sure.
Yes, there's tons of venues. The only difference in our venue and every other one, and I tell people all this time, and I don't just say it to try to use for a sales pitch. It's the truth. It's her.
Yeah.
She's the difference in everything that happens, because she wants to make sure. I mean, when something don't go right during the day, she's hurt. You know, for a bride, she sees the bride going through stuff, because so many times family gets involved, and family thinks they know best.
Yeah.
When a lot of times love them to death, but they just need to be family.
Yeah.
You know.
You're a guest here, be a guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's not her first day to do this, and we really know most of the time what's going to work best for the bride.
For sure.
And of course, in that 2-hour meeting, all of that is discussed and written down, and it's a brutal meeting. For a guy, yeah, I don't want to be there.
It is fun.
They're going to all the nitty gritty, and you're just like, okay, all right, here's.
And I'm thinking I could be fishing or building fence or something.
I hear you loud and clear. Well, all your social media posts, you're doing hard work. You were chopping a giant ice block and and then knowing, because I'd seen before that you had hurt your knee, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is how he hurt his knee. This is it. And I was like, what am I? Is it? Oh, is it really? Did you?
No.
Oh, okay. That's what I was thinking. I have a friend who chopped himself in the foot with an axe, and I was waiting to see that with your knee, and I was like, no.
No, I was chopping ice, and I twisted, and I just twisted, and I tore my meniscus. And that's the second time I've torn that meniscus. So finally I just said, let's quit fixing it, and let's do a permanent replacement. So,
Wow.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I guess to go full circle in that is a lot of his strengths are my big weaknesses.
Yeah, come on.
And vice versa. And I can stand back and make sure the cake gets cut. We get all those things that we meet about done. And he sees the big picture, and he sees when things need to be taken care of, rearranged. He breaks down tables. He's making sure everything's good on the outside of the barn, and making sure, the bartending area is safe and working well for the people and all of those things. And I think it just boils down to that. The things that I'm super bad at, he's super good at.
You're a really good team. Your strengths complement each other's weaknesses.
Yep.
That is a big deal.
Yep,
Very big deal. Yep. Awesome. We'll go for the next one. Okay, so you actually kind of already answered this one, but if you want to retouch on it, why did you want to create a wedding venue?
Well, like I said, the main thing is so that we would have something to do together.
Yeah.
As we both get older. I mean, we're not old, but we're getting there, and someday we're not going to be able, or I'm not going to be able to climb around in attics.
Especially if you keep hitting yourself with axes.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. So, but it's just fun to do stuff together. And honestly, probably one of the biggest reasons is the fact that we, the experience for our daughter's wedding was so bad.
Yeah.
That, a lot of times for me, I'm a fix-it guy, and I want to fix everything.
Yeah.
And when I seen it, I thought,
I got to fix it.
Ridiculous. There's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
And that was literally what we said when we left there. I said, there's got to be a better way. And she said, well, why don't we just do it? And I was like, oh, okay.
You want to hear something funny? That's actually how we got started in wedding photography. Yeah. So we got married. We just celebrated our 5 years as well. And we got married, and I had a friend, and I love her. She's so sweet, and the fact that she offered to take the photos for us was a great thing. I was a private in the Army, and I had no money. So when a friend said, hey, we'll do for your photos, I was like, that's like $1,000 off the plate. I'll do it. So they did our photos, and we have maybe a handful from the day. Yeah. And looking back at our day, we loved our wedding. We had a very small wedding, but it was sweet, and we did the exact same thing. We're like, you know what? We can do this. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's make sure that we offer some services that are going to be professional and good quality. So we kind of had the same start there. Yeah. That's amazing.
And that's what we did. Because like I said, when our whole goal when we started it is for people to know when they walk in, the day they walk in, it's the same price as the day they walk out, the night of their wedding.
Yeah.
And we said we would never ever charge a fee for anything, and we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, if they wanted us to take care of food and bartending and all that, that's different.
Personalized things.
Yeah, but as far as the venue itself, we swore there would never be an increased price just because we're here.
Indeed.
So we don't charge them for anything. If they need an extension cord, you know, whatever, we
Yeah,
got 'em.
we'll get it for them.
No, we include their tables, chairs, linens, decorations, coordinating, all of that. Anything that when they walk through and we show it to them, that's all included.
This is what you can have.
Yes, we'll never call them back later and go, oh yeah, those lanterns that were on the table, those were $1,000 more. It's never
Yeah.
like that. We
Yeah.
want them to know that anything we talk about that they see here in the venue and services that we've talked about are part of their packages. And then of course, people want different kinds of food, and some want bartending, some want DJs and different things. That's all very personalized. And so we don't charge, I mean, we don't include that because it's so different.
Indeed, yeah. Thank you. All right, so here's a question I really have: is how did the donkeys and the horses, how did all the animals come into what you're doing here?
Oh, my baby.
I know you guys seem to have a huge love for this tortoise, and it's adorable.
Yes.
She's just, it's the same love that she has for everything, that she has for animals.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I hate to tell her no on stuff, you know. I mean, honestly, because, not to get too in depth, but her first marriage was horrible, and she never had things. She never got treated like she was supposed to be treated.
Yeah.
So when we have an option to get her something, you know, that really makes her happy, and animals, it makes her really happy. So it kind of gives me an excuse to be bad or something.
You get to dote on her. You get to dote on her and win the brownie points. I
right.
totally
That's
understand
He's
that.
got a lot of them.
Well, yeah, that's good to hear. You need those.
I get her horse, I'm free for like a year.
That's awesome.
Whatever I need to do.
Like we were discussing before we started, like, you know, as husbands, it's kind of our job to be ornery. And so, you know, you're in a better place than I am. I'll figure that out. I'm sure that came with time and experience and figuring it out, but I'll figure it out to, you know, win those points so I can lose them later.
Yeah. So she just, like I said, she's always loved donkeys and stuff. So we got one, and of course you can't have one donkey.
No, you'd be lonely.
You got to have two. So then we had to get another one, and yeah, good times.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
Are the cowboys, do they belong to you?
Longhorns.
They really do.
Yes.
They really are. Wow. Do you ever use those? Do they? I imagine do they come out?
Yeah.
Really? I
Yeah,
haven't
they'll
seen
come
that
right
yet.
at and eat out of your hand.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, people don't get in there with them, but a lot of times they're already interested in what's going on.
Indeed.
And so
Every time
they'll
I've
go-
ever pulled up here, the cattle are coming to the fence like, what's up, guy?
Yeah.
Like,
So a lot of the couples will go over by the fence and get some good photo bombing things going on and things like that. And the donkeys, they love to go for walks, so they like to come over and have pictures with our brides. And
that's so
yes.
sweet.
Yeah,
That
the
is so sweet.
longhorns are super gentle, but their horns are so long that they just turn their head a little bit, and if they hit you, you're gonna feel it.
They're kind of
Yeah.
klutzy in that regard.
So we try to not throw brides in there with them.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
When I asked that question and you kind of replied yes, I was like, whoa, really? So
We keep a distance.
we keep a distance.
fence-
Social
a fence
distancing with the
between.
Longhorns, good idea.
I'm pretty good. I can get in with them, and they know me, and you know they do okay. But
That's awesome. You have a very calm demeanor. I'm sure they kind of sense that and they're probably calm too. That's awesome.
I feed them.
Oh yeah, it's also a big deal. Yeah, we have a couple dogs at home that, like, you know, I feed them. They're nice to me.
That's right.
That's basically.
And then there's a baby in there. There's a little black cow that she was bottle raised.
Really? Oh my gosh! So she is super acclimated to human hands.
Yeah, you can walk in and rub all over her. We got her from her parents. They live in McAllister, and they're farmers. And of course, this little calf was not doing good, and his mama died, and so they were like, "Well, I hope she lives." And I was like, "Oh, you shouldn't have said that."
Okay, all right. Let's. We got a new cow.
Yeah.
Did-
So we put it in the truck, and
Is that the picture I saw? I was researching social media, and I saw you had a picture, and you're like,
Yes.
I think you said, "What if this came home with me?" or something like that.
That's Dottie.
All right, here's a fun one for me. What's the most oddball thing you've come across so far since opening in 2018? What's the most oddball thing that's happened here with a guest?
Well, the one wedding that you did, they threw the groom in
I
the
talk about that
pond,
so much.
and he lost his wedding ring.
Oh yes. Oh, Lane. And speaking of people who you become really good friends with, we're really good friends with Lane and Francesca now.
They are
So
super sweet.
they're amazing. They actually just moved. Where did they move to? Nebraska. For his job. Yeah.
They've done lots of moving.
Yes, they got the word overnight and they outed. But so you'd probably consider that one of the most oddball things that's happened.
probably, yeah, I mean,
Probably.
yeah, as far as oddball and fun, yeah. Yeah. And the bad thing is half the girls wanted to take clothes off and jump in and look for the ring. And I was like, no.
Oh, I didn't even hear that part. We outed pretty quickly after that event.
There was 3 girls that were standing there, and they're like, we can go in. And I was like, no.
Oh, no. That's funny. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Really cool. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, so where did you both grow up, and why did you choose to stay in Oklahoma with this venture?
I was born in Enid and grew up in Oklahoma City.
Uh-huh.
And I moved out here in 2000, and mainly to get my kids in a small town.
Okay.
For school.
Yeah.
Because I was raised in the city, and I,
Really? You were raised in the city?
Yeah.
That's almost hard to believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my uncles always took me out to the country, and then, once I became friends with Terry and Lola up north, they kind of became my family. But anyway, long story short, I grew up in the city, and I moved out here in 2000 to just get my kids in a better school system.
That's awesome.
And then I've been here ever.
And where are they at? Deer Creek?
No, both my kids went to Cashin.
Okay.
And then my daughter graduated with a master's in geology from OSU.
Wow.
And long story short, now they did all the cutoffs at Chesapeake, layoffs, and so now she bought a wedding venue in Luther. Yeah.
Get out. So it's kind of become a family thing then.
Yeah, she owns 11 Oaks.
Yeah.
11 Oaks. Wow. That sounds amazing. What's kind of is it a barn style or?
No, it's a little bit. Have you been to the Springs?
We have 2 weddings scheduled for the
It's
Springs.
a little bit like the Springs a little bit.
Okay.
It's more contemporary, but it still has real pretty wood and stuff in it. It's a beautiful place.
That's awesome.
But then my son graduated from OSU with a physiology degree.
Oh, wow.
And is now applying to med school at OSU.
Okay.
So
Really cool.
So,
And how about you? Did you grow up here?
I grew up in McAllister, which is southeast Oklahoma,
Okay.
just north of there, on a farm.
Okay. Okay.
So there we go.
There comes the
And-
love for animals from a very
Uh-huh.
young age.
Yes, and then I lived in Arizona for years.
Really?
And so I've never been so happy. I'm in love. You ask him, I'm in love with trees. Trees are, if he cuts down a tree, I'm like, no, don't do it. Put it somewhere else. And how many trees did we transplant?
oh gosh.
Probably 200, something
Wow.
like that.
Probably.
And how many of them grew? Because I hear that there's a pretty
Some of them
Not
didn't
very-
make it,
Not very many.
small fraction.
Yeah.
but at least we
yeah.
tried.
Yeah, you're doing your part.
I have a big tree planter on the back of a truck, and we transplanted a lot of them, and we probably had 10% live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a lot of work for just 10%.
It sounds like it,
So, yeah.
truly.
But yeah.
Okay.
But it's all right.
So I
And-
can appreciate, the city shopping, but other than that, I like to be out. Every time I go to the city, I call him and say, I remember why we live where we live, because
Yeah.
I can't stand traffic and all of this.
I'm not going to lie. I'm from a very small town of 12,000 people. 12 or 16, I kind of get that mixed up sometimes. But moving to the city,
Yeah.
I kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
I really do like the mall. I'm not gonna lie. I like being able to go places and do things, but man, I miss
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
we are
Traffic is
close
crazy.
enough to the city that you can go do all of the fun stuff. And
You guys
then
hit 74
come
and just go
away.
straight down, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's only 17 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that to Memorial in Portland, where everything kind of starts.
Yeah.
So we enjoy that. If we decide today to go out to dinner, we'll go out to dinner and then we come home.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
yes.
Awesome. We'll do the next one. So what are kind of some typical questions a bride might ask on their first contact with you guys when they start considering this venue?
Everything from budget to how many we hold to picture spots is
Yeah.
a big thing. If there's not good picture spots, then nobody's interested.
You're
of
exactly right.
course, and so we try to do that. To where they get married, and is there a spot to get ready in their actual bridal suite with restrooms and salon area, things like that, accommodations more so for the bride than the groom. The groom needs a place to be, but typically they're going to go out to lunch and then they're going to come just in time for pictures and the wedding and ceremony, whereas
Indeed.
the girls will be here for 12 hours. And so they're looking for good accommodations for getting ready as well. I call it an event within an event.
That's really cool. Well, good job on designing and building. It's still hard to believe you built this place. This is amazing. You did really good.
He is
Yeah,
talented.
one thing they ask about a lot too is do we have outdoor facilities? And of course we do. We go down by the pond and we have pavilions, and so.
Places
I've also
for the
actually seen
ceremony.
a ceremony lined up right here in a photo. Now, is that typically just last minute? It rains. This is where we can do it.
Yes. Yes.
Usually, we just finished doing some planning for a wedding that's in a little over a month, and they're worried that it's still going to be hot. So they're planning for an indoor ceremony. So winter, really hot weather, sometimes we have some that have chosen it.
Yeah.
But most often it's because of rain. And really, we don't even have that problem on wedding day very often because our ground runs that water off pretty well.
Well, there's a very slight slope down to the pond, and I guarantee that's got to help.
Yeah,
Right?
and so it can rain up to a couple hours before the wedding, and we can still have an outdoor wedding.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I've seen that you've been referred to as the family photographer. First off, I gotta ask, what kind of camera do you shoot on? It's gotta be a Canon. It looks like a Canon from what I could peek on.
It is a Canon, and you asked me, and I have no clue.
It's a
because
mirrorless. It's a new
It's
one.
the new
Is it-
mirrorless camera.
Is it an R? It's probably an EOS R or
Yes,
R5?
yes,
Okay. Yeah. Well, I looked at it and I noticed the lens you had on there was an L series, a very nice lens. Have you guys thought about ever adding photography to a package that you guys might have here?
No.
No? No, just too much.
No, it's not my specialty. And you know, the main reason we got it, you know, it's a very expensive camera.
It is.
Unfortunately, anything nice nowadays is expensive.
Indeed.
You know that.
Yeah.
With cameras. But long story short, the main reason we bought it is so that we could take pictures of the barn for her posting and pictures of outside for her posting and stuff like that. And of course, we had, I guess it was January or February, we had that snowstorm.
Yeah.
And
Oh, man.
we had a wedding, and unfortunately, the photographer called the morning of and said, "Yeah, I'm not driving in this, sorry."
Oh, wow.
So they had no photographer for their
Oh, wow.
for their wedding. So, long story short, I got volunteered to,
Well, she couldn't be without a photographer.
I mean, it just makes sense.
yeah.
I haven't seen those photos, but I'm really looking forward to it
They,
now.
they turned out decent,
Uh-huh.
you know, and luckily she's pretty good at editing.
Yeah.
So she got to make up for a lot of bad pictures.
She's good at editing, or the bride
Yes,
was?
she was.
You are.
Not
What do you edit on? I've got to
necessarily
know now.
photographer. I'm just saying we can play with it enough
Yeah,
to make
just
it
a
work.
light.
I'm with it. That's amazing. Well,
Not like you.
well, you guys are very smart people, very competent. So I have zero doubt that it would turn out all right.
No, it's an art to take pictures.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an art.
It takes years and years. I've been doing this for
Yes.
10 years, and I have so far to go myself.
Yeah.
So
And that's not my specialty.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, maybe one day.
He's done though. I'm gonna just say he's cutting himself just a little bit short.
I had a feeling he was.
because he has done work with Bass Pro and Cabela's and doing some video and photography
And
work.
I
with
think you
them a
did tell me
little bit.
you did some travel stuff, didn't you?
Yeah.
For Bass Pro, was it?
With Bass Pro.
Yeah. Tell me about that more.
Oh, it was just, I guided hunts for like 12 years.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of times they would come out and film, and sometimes they couldn't get a photographer to come with them. So I would jump in and film their shows. So,
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
is a big deal.
Like
That's what I'm
he's so
saying.
humble. He's so humble. So anything that Bruce says, we just have to add like 10 to it, and then we're probably about appropriate. Okay. So all right, we'll go ahead and drive the next one.
There you go.
So other than weddings, which is what we're always here for, of course, but what other events do you guys have here?
weddings are the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have some Christmas parties, very few. You know, every now and then we'll have an anniversary party.
Yeah.
But one thing we do is we work with cash in schools.
Okay.
And we a lot of times let them have their prom here.
That's
They've
good,
had
yeah.
their prom here the last 3-4 years, 3.5 years, whatever. I think they've had 3. But anyway, we let them have their prom here just to save them a ton of money, and you know, so stuff like that. But mainly, probably 95% of everything we do is weddings.
Okay. I'm not familiar with I'm not actually even from Oklahoma personally. What's the school size that you guys are able to fit into here for a prom?
Well, like my son graduated 4 or 5 years ago, and his senior class was, I think, 42.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a small school.
Yeah.
You know, but
Understandable.
Yeah.
We did have Deer Creek prom here one year,
Yes.
and
Oh,
there
yeah.
was
Yeah.
probably 1,000
It was
kids
crazy.
or so.
Oh, my goodness.
This was strictly a dance floor, and there was a tent with tables and some outdoor things set up, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It went super smooth, but we wouldn't do it again just because it was like, oh my goodness,
It's gotta be cumbersome.
Something could
Yeah.
go
Well, you
wrong
guys
just
you
because
guys
of
recommend
how many.
250 people for a wedding here max,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I can only imagine 1,000 people. That's 4 times as much.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and like I said, it went really extremely well, but we sat back later and thought, man, that could have gone wrong with
Yeah.
all those kids with the pond and with just so
A
much
lot of variables.
going on.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
the kids were
so
great.
they were great.
Yeah.
And we've done their cheer banquet too, because our daughter cheered there as well, but primarily weddings.
So I know that you were a realtor before Rustic Rose Barn opened, but did you always have your AC business, or what did you guys do before?
I was always in the heat and air business. I worked at a supply house for a few years, and then I opened my own company in 2005, I think. So I've been doing that primarily, and that's all I've ever done is pretty much it.
What's the name of your business?
Temple Heat and Air.
Temple Heat and Air? Okay.
I did real estate for that much time.
Yeah.
That was really short, but I was a school teacher for years.
I can see that. That makes a lot of sense
It
here.
does, doesn't
What'd you
it?
teach?
I taught elementary school primarily. I've taught everything from pre-K all the way to 12
wow.
at some point in time, but primarily elementary school.
Okay.
Which works good, because most of the time when we're lining up the brides and grooms to go out, the grooms are like sometimes.
We're toddlers, man. We're toddlers. As dudes, like we're getting married. This is exciting for us. I'm about to be with this woman for the rest of my life. I'm just giddy, and I just feel like a kid. It's great. I remember my wedding. I felt the same way.
So she goes down the line and she says, "Okay, everybody, give me your gum. Come on."
Gun, cell phones.
Is that a thing?
It is a thing.
Oh my
Gun and
gosh.
cell phones.
Wow. I have not run into that yet,
Yeah,
but
and then I pass out tissues to all of the girls,
thank you. So you kind of almost made it sound like it was a bad thing. I don't think it was a bad thing at all. But you did your research to build this barn. What inspirations did you really gather? Because that's what it sounds like to me, is you gathered inspiration. You didn't steal anybody's idea. You gathered inspiration. What inspiration did you get?
We learned a lot from a lot of different venues of how things were set up. But we learned what not to do.
Yeah.
We learned not to build a bridal suite without a bathroom, not to build restrooms without a family restroom and a handicap restroom, and we learned about kitchens, of what they need and what they don't need.
Yeah.
And fortunately, there's a bunch of kitchens that are so small people can't move around in, and last thing you want is a caterer is cranky.
You're not wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
You want them happy if they're going to feed you. So we just learned probably a lot, and even our design in our bathrooms, we designed our sinks are like buckets, and the plumbing fixtures are all handmade, and
Wow.
and we actually seen that in a restaurant in Alabama.
Okay. What restaurant do you remember?
I don't remember, but it was really cool, and I was like, I got to take a picture. I can do that, So
That's really cool.
yeah,
That's awesome.
So stuff like that.
Is there any other specific venues that you got more inspiration than others from?
No, not really.
You just kind of took this piece. I love this. I love that, and you're like, this is our baby.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good job.
There are lots of good venues. We talk about that all the time. Lots of good, pretty venues, and there's good things about them. People probably walk away from ours too and say, I wish this had have been this way. We do the best that we can, and I think that's kind of what we did, is we just walked away and said, every place we went had good things, and every place we went had things that we wouldn't necessarily do. And so that's kind of where everything came from, just a hodgepodge of
Yeah,
things
a little bit of
that
everything.
worked.
Just like in our bar area, we've got a flag with a blue line in it.
Yeah.
And we put patches all around that. And that came from a place called Missions Barbecue in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And when we went in, it looked a lot like this place, but on every inch of the wall, it had a patch from all over the United States and the world.
That's amazing.
And now we've been pretty fortunate we've got quite a few patches from Afghanistan, and so anyway, it's kind of cool to honor our military and police officers.
After having so many weddings here, what's your favorite part of the weddings?
It's different. What you say your favorite part?
My favorite part is not the wedding. I
Really?
love the wedding, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that it's their wedding day, but
Yeah.
my favorite part is working with the couples and getting to know them and trying to make that come to reality for them, what they're looking for and what they're wanting, and that relationship that you build as you lead up to the wedding. And
Absolutely.
I enjoy the wedding, don't get me wrong, but my favorite part is all of the things leading up to it.
Yeah, that's understandable.
And mine's kind of the same thing. My favorite part is hanging out with the groomsmen and joking with them and having fun, and getting to meet. I can talk to a fence post.
Yeah.
So
I hear that.
So I like to talk to people and get to know, especially a lot of the grandfathers that come in. They love to talk.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk for hours. But I love to get to talk to the people. And for me, everything else is work.
Yeah.
Getting ready for it's work. Afterwards is work. So the only time that I get to breathe is during the reception part
Yeah.
where I can just hang out and talk to people.
Yeah.
That's the best part, just getting to know people from all over the place. I mean, we've had full weddings from New York, Georgia, LA, Wisconsin.
People
Chicago.
have come from all those places
They
to
bring-
this specific
Yeah, they
one.
bring entire plane loads of people.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's
And
amazing. Where do they
it
land
makes
at?
us feel special, Will Rogers.
They will land at Will Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it makes us feel special that they're willing to do that,
Absolutely.
you know, because, I mean, evidently they see something special in it, and we appreciate that.
That's a very big
And they
deal.
get to see some Oklahoma culture. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
the draw, because we're out here, we have the animals, we're not in the city, and they appreciate that stuff. You know, we see it all the time, so we get used to it.
Yeah.
But they really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It's
the
neat.
biggest part is to see how amazed they are at our cows.
Yeah,
and
really?
donkeys. Yes.
That's
And-
awesome.
And for me, I'm like,
That's a donkey.
that's a donkey and that's a cow.
Not me.
You know?
You're like, that's a donkey.
We had a whole crew, like she said, from Wisconsin come down and have their wedding here.
Okay.
And at one point, we looked around and everybody was gone. Everybody was outside, and we were like, what's happening, you know?
Okay.
And we look outside, and they're all lined up on the fence looking at all the longhorns.
Wow.
And they were just amazed.
That's
that
amazing.
They were that close to a longhorn. And you
That
know,
was so neat. It was such a
unfortunately, we
neat
take for
family.
granted what we have sometimes.
That's so fun, really.
You know,
That's really
yeah.
so fun. All right, we'll go ahead and do the next one.
There you go. Uh-oh, do I have two?
Yeah, we go. Yeah, see, they like to stick together.
They do.
Okay, so we've kind of discussed how you built the place, where your inspiration come from, but all that leads up to your very first couple, your very first clients. Tell me about them, and tell me how you felt during the interaction.
That's kind of a catch-22, because we did a giveaway because we were trying to get our information out there. And
Absolutely.
So we did a wedding giveaway for our first couple, Kaylee and Easton.
Okay.
And they were so sweet and so wonderful to work with. Now, we did have a wedding come in the weekend before, and he was still hanging wrought iron on the steps and everything. It was that there was no furniture upstairs, was there, because we knew that we were getting ready to have that first wedding, but
Wow.
they came in. And they were super nice too. But Kaylee and Easton were our first giveaway wedding.
Wow.
We did a big kickoff, you know, if you tag us, and did it, well, you can put one entry in. If you tag us and share, you can put another, you know, that kind of
For sure.
thing. And that was fun. That was super fun. We got so many neat people that we met through that. And I tell you, still to this day, we have people come through to tour the barn, and they're like, I saw Kaylee's picture on your Instagram. And
Really?
so they're so nice and so kind, and I guess everybody in the world knows them. And
That's amazing.
Yes.
It is
really cool.
amazing, because like you said, it's amazing how many people know them, and it's been 3.5 years ago. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are still just coming back and being like, I saw these pictures. That's
Yes.
amazing.
And
So,
they just had their first baby.
oh, wow, congrats to them. Very big
yes.
deal. That's awesome. And that was 2018, right? 2018. Fantastic. Well, I really resonate with the whole giveaway thing. Blaine and Francesca's wedding was our very first very first wedding. It was also a giveaway, because you have to get your foot in that door
You
and
do.
get the experience, get the exposure to really start building the business.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is a starting price? You guys automatically know and tell your guests when they walk through the door. You can tell them what this is going to cost. What's kind of a starting price?
$3,500.
$3,500.
Is our starting price, and that includes everything: the 12-hour rental, 1-hour rehearsal. They can come in anytime they want to plan on the way and take pictures and all of that. Plus, it's decor, tables, chairs, linens, and all of the services that we offer. And that's a Monday through Thursday.
Okay.
Is what that is. And then it just kind of changes based on day of the week or month of the year.
Okay, interesting. I guess it makes sense, because obviously the wedding season gears up, and when that happens, supply and demand kind of becomes a thing. And as it kind of gears down, it's a little bit easier to say, all right, we have some time. It's not as much of a stress. We can kind of lower prices
Well,
and
and
such.
we don't do it just because it's less stress on us. We have it a little bit higher in the busy months because we hire more help.
Absolutely.
So we, you know, instead of.
I saw the young men that were here last time we were here. Are they relationed? Are they hired on?
They're cash and high school kids.
Okay.
We try to hire them, you know, give them their jobs and first
Yeah.
jobs. And we've had one kid with us, Brexton. He's worked with us forever, and he does a great job. But unfortunately, he's going to college. He got a scholarship.
Darn college.
Yeah, dang education.
I may go take him.
We're going to kidnap this kid. Don't worry about him. He can do college here, online.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Good
Like
job.
I said, we've got a couple others that
Yeah.
that are doing stuff now.
Really supporting teenagers, and that's a good thing to have on your resume too.
Yep.
Like, this is hard work, and very logistical.
It is hard work.
Yeah.
It really is. We laugh because we have sweet girls that come in and they want to do all of the wedding things, but really the things that need to be done on wedding day are moving chairs and cleaning floors and trash and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
And so
The things that
it's
come with the
hard
venue.
work.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
People don't understand how much hard work it is. It's, and we're both workers. That's just the way it is. That's all.
That's
we've
so
ever known,
obvious. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a 16, 18-hour day because we get here first thing in the morning. And the main thing is when our brides come in, we want it to be set up just like they wanted it, so that if they like it, they like it. If not, if they want to change something, we'll help them change something. We don't care. But once all that's done, then we just continue to work all through the day. And then, of course, at night, after the reception, we got to break down all the tables, scrub all the floors.
Oh, man.
Because
When the wedding ends, your job is just
Yeah.
beginning.
No, we'll shut down. The other night we got home, I think, at 2:30. Wow. So
You guys are real workers.
yeah.
You guys put in the
Well,
work.
That's all we know.
That's
I
amazing.
tell people I'm not smart enough to do anything else. So I just have to work.
Plus 10 that. Whatever he just said, plus 10 it.
He's smart.
I'm standing by that. Okay, we'll do the next one.
all right.
We're getting to the easy questions now. How many weddings have you guys had here?
Oh my God.
Do you guys have a ticker?
No,
No,
I
we
didn't
probably
even
should.
know.
I don't know. We've probably had
Close to 200, I would say.
Wow, really? You're 200 in. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and it's and we're building a reputation.
For sure.
And we appreciate that. We're always thankful for it. But I mean, we'll do close to 100 weddings in this next year, in just the year.
Yeah.
So, it's ramping up fast.
That's amazing. It's like 2 a week nearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's funny is some like January and February are a lot slower than other months. So there'll be 4 on a weekend.
Yeah.
And then there'll be 1 on a weekend in slower months or whatever.
Yeah, like in
And
October of this year, I think we have 18 planned. So if you figure on a 30-day month, that's every other day, better than every other day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
So, yeah.
You guys have only been open like a few years, and here you are. You could probably not take any more on, could you?
We could, but we're getting old.
Well, you guys are hiring a bunch of young guys to help you
We
keep
are,
up that
and
speed,
that's
so you're doing
what
right.
we
You're
need,
doing it
and
right.
They help so much. We could, I couldn't do multiple weddings without them anymore. At first, we were gung ho and we
First,
could
were
do
doing
it.
everything, and it's like, we really got to hire some kids to do the manual labor.
I
That's
told
awesome.
our sweet girl, Evan, I said, you have no idea. Just the fact that even if you just come out and set out the chairs, what a difference that makes in my day.
Yeah.
Cool. We got the second to last one right there. Thank you. On your website, you guys note that you have the 3-acre pond, you guys have the donkeys and the cattle, and you guys have all this beautiful stuff here. What's something that people would miss out on unless you pointed it out to them? Do you have anything in mind?
I don't know. I mean, probably the only bad thing about the website is when you look at pictures, it really don't give you a feel of what it is.
Yeah.
I would say the majority of people when they get here, they walk in, they go, wow, this is huge compared to what the pictures look like. So it really don't give a real accurate,
Representation.
Yeah, representation of what it looks like and the outside. I mean, the outside is beautiful. It's, it's just, God built it. We just
I've got to
cleaned
be
it up.
honest. When I think of this place, I think of that swing you have out there. I don't know what it is, but there's something about that swing
It's
that
a
just has
pretty
such a
place.
romantic vibe around it, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And then we've got the truck around back too. We
That's so true.
put our couple on a golf cart and they can drive all the way around. Did we have the golf cart when you were here?
No, you guys actually gave me the keys to your Jeep, and it was a Jeep, I believe, and you're just like, hey, just drive around. I was like, oh, well, cool. This is a really nice vehicle. So, yeah.
Now we have a golf cart.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it. I like it. Well, there's that beautiful tunnel that leads all the way back through there. That I don't know how I haven't seen this thousands of pictures of people just staging right there. It's gorgeous.
And it's all natural.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah, we've done none of that except maybe trim a few limbs that are hitting you in the head or something. But the whole tunnel itself it's just.
You can't ask for better.
Yeah.
You cannot ask for better.
It is beautiful. I think just at the end of the wedding day, it's what you have time for is what that boils down to.
Great. So I actually have one last question for you guys, and so it's going to be something that we're going to start doing, and it's going to be called review response. So you guys have a ton of reviews on Facebook, on Google, on Yelp, and I want to read one specific review and have you guys respond to it.
Oh.
And it probably won't be a tearjerker because when I read this one, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so much fun. I love it. So Stephanie and Bruce were absolutely amazing. I got married on August 31st, 2019. They did everything they could to make my wedding perfect and beautiful. Not only is it gorgeous, but incredibly affordable. We even had a bump in the road where my fiance, now husband, got his car stuck in a ditch because of the road flooding. And Stephanie and Bruce not only got his car out and him to the ceremony on time, but on top of that, they cleaned his car. They went the extra mile, and I couldn't have been happier.
That was Alexis.
Is that
I
who?
know who that was.
Yeah. But I know,
yes.
it was a brand new Camaro.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Oh
And-
no.
And our roads out here, our back roads are not good. You know, we've got paved roads all the way to it if you follow the directions, but sometimes your GPS will take you down a dirt road because it's shorter depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the groom was in town and he had never been that way, and he decided to take the back way after a rain.
Oh man.
Yeah, and it did not work out well for him.
Do you just kind of take a corner a little bit fast?
No, no, the roads, unfortunately, the roads are country roads.
And they've worked
Yeah.
on that one a little
They
bit.
have. It's not
so.
as bad as it used to be. There was one spot where the water ran across the road, and they called it a low water crossing.
Okay.
You know, for me, it was the county just not taking care of it. But
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, it was a bad spot to drive over, and he was in a Camaro and went through it and did not make it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was scared because I said, I'm not sure where to hook up to this thing at. You know? And of course, I was dressed for the wedding.
Yeah.
And I had to lay underneath it and get underneath it in the mud.
Oh, no.
And hook a chain underneath it. And of course, I was just covered from head to toe in mud. And so I went home and showered and changed clothes. And I thought, well, I'm just going to wash this car while I'm at it because it's filthy. It was covered.
Heck yeah.
So anyway.
That
Yeah.
is there.
And
I don't know. There's another example
Yeah.
other than the extra mile. That's amazing.
He's done that a couple of times, washed cars. He's thoughtful like that. He is. I had nothing to do with that at all. I was just inside making sure everything went okay for her. But he's very detail oriented, and he notices, and he's very thoughtful and
Yeah.
thinks of those things, and there's nobody else that would do that in the world.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys have a love that just shines so intensely, and it's obvious that doesn't just carry over to each other, that carries over to your brides and your grooms. You guys have towed people's cars, you've brought people from Wisconsin to see your cattle, or they took themselves, but I just want to say that you guys are amazing, and I hope this place does nothing but grow and grow and grow till you cannot handle it no more, and you're hiring on full-time staff. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I have zero doubt that's actually going to happen. So
you.
please, one time real quick, tell the camera right here your social media and anything else you guys want to say to your guests.
So on Instagram, we're Rustic Rose Barn. Okay, because there is a random Rustic Rose Barn in another state that we did not know about.
How funny.
So it's got an OK on the end, and then our website is rusticrosebarn.net.
Okay.
And I guess that's it.
I guess that's it. Well, thank you guys so much, Bruce. It was great. Stephanie, it was great.
Thank
And
you.
I'm super excited. You guys are number 2 out of 21 vendors coming your way from Oklahoma City. Get to know your vendors, know who to choose, and it's going to be an easy ride from there on. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Don't want a complication.